treble, you look like you're in your happy place. Hey everyone, I hope you're ready to work on lead guitar today, and I also hope you're in tune because we're getting started. This month's lesson is Tiki Torch, and what we're going to be working on is a combination of inversions and the pentatonic scale. So the very first chord is going to be C, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a slide from A5 to A7, and then we're going to go into part of our pentatonic scale and go. So that's going to be on D5 to D7 with index and ring. Then we're going down to G5 with index. Then we're going to bend our ring finger on G7, then come down, and then hit G5, G7, and then G5. So this lick comes from the inversion from C. So what an inversion is, it's basically the reordering of notes. So if we have three different notes in the key of C, which are C, E, and G, an inversion will be a reordering of those notes. So the next inversion will be E, G, and C. So that's the first inversion of this chord. And believe it or not, here it is. So you would have ring on A7 and index on D5 and G5. That gets you E, G, C. So this first lick is coming out of that inversion. The very next chord that we're playing over is F, and its inversion is going to be right here at A12, D10, and G10, which those notes, F, A, and C, the inversion would be A, C, and F. So remember, an inversion is the reordering of the same three notes. So if you have three different notes, you'll have three inversions. So the first one is, of course, the 1-3-5. The second one will be the 3-5-1, and finally the third one will be 5-1-3. So we're going back and we're hitting this again. Then the next chord is G from D7 to D9. Then we're going to go G7, G9, and then we're going to shift to B8, B10. Then bend on B10, and then B8, B10, back to B8. And if our G notes are G, B, and D, you guessed it right, we're actually going to be doing B, D, G, the inversion of G. If you're having a hard time knowing what this music theory stuff is, why don't you type issues down in the comment section? We'll see if we can't get some things to help you out. We're doing our next section. We're starting to add a little bit more flavor to everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to let a rest come through, and a rest is where you don't play but you keep counting. And we're going to do this little bend on G7 with, ring. Then we're going to do G5, G7, G5, to kind of set up our next move. Now here's the interesting thing. You would want to do the next thing with your ring finger instinctively. You need to do this slide from G7 to G9 with your index finger instead, not the ring. Because that's going to set up our C7, because that's the next chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide from G7 to G9. Then with ring, we're going to play B11. So we're going to be doing that slide and hitting B11 to let the listener hear that B flat note that's in that chord. It'll really give it a lot of continuity and fluidity. So we have. Now this next move is going to be a pickup where you're going to use middle finger and pinky on B11 and B13. Now why we use middle and pinky is because our ring finger will be set up on G12, and it's exactly where we want to be for this next bend. So we're going and then bending G12, and then G10, G12, and then D12. Now I use the middle finger for this because I can get right back to that index on G10. So we have, and then we're going to slide from G10 to G11, and this is going to take care of the third note of this D7, the F sharp. There it is right there. And then we're going to use ring on B13. And that, once again, gives us that flat 7 sound of D7. So we're letting the listener hear that. Then we're going to B15 with the ring and bending up, full bend, so we can hear that E note again. That's the third of that C chord. Now you can do that, or you can add that little A in between. It sounds great either way. And then we're going to G14, doing a bend. Or actually we're going to hit G14, G12, then bend. And then G12, G14, D14, G12. And that's setting us up for our last part, which is going to be D15. And I'm going to use ring. You can also use pinky if you want to. I'm going to use ring. And then we're going to use middle to slide from D13 to D14. Now what that is that's what we call an enclosure. It's where you play a note that's outside of your target area and then slide in or play a passage into your target area for your chord. And that C frame is our target area. And that's, we're going to slide from D13 to D14. And then we're going to hit D15, G14, and that's just this D and G string version of this F chord. We're just doing an octave higher. Then we're going to slide G11 and D13 into D14 and G12, which is that C. And there it is. Great job, everyone. Let's try this with the backing track. Thanks so much for working with us today. My name is Clint Tucker. I'm a guitar trainer and coach. If you would, please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment how this has helped, that would be amazing so you can help this channel grow. I upload a lesson every Friday and also do cool things in between. So please hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss anything.